Does your heart break just a little every time you close that door, knowing your dog is on the other side, distressed and anxious? Or maybe it's that feeling of dread when you think about what you might come home to, the barking complaints from neighbors, the accidents, or signs of their panic. If leaving your dog alone fills you with anxiety, you're definitely in the right place, and you're not alone in this. So many loving dog owners go through this, and let me tell you, it's not a sign that you're a bad owner or that your dog is misbehaving out of spite. Separation anxiety is a genuine panic disorder, and it's tough on both ends of the leash. But here's the good news. There's real hope, and there are gentle, effective ways to help your furry friend and you find some peace and quiet when you're apart. In this video, we're going to unpack what separation anxiety truly is, how to spot the real signs, and most importantly, I'll walk you through realistic, actionable solutions you can start using to make a positive change. Ready to help your best friend feel more secure? Let's get into it. So we've talked about how crummy separation anxiety feels, but what exactly is it? It's super important to understand this because it changes how we approach helping our dogs. At its core, separation anxiety is a genuine panic disorder. Think about human panic attacks. It's that level of intense fear and distress. But for our dogs, it's triggered by being left alone or separated from their main attachment figures, usually us. It's not your dog being spiteful, trying to get back at you for leaving, or just being a bad dog. They are truly, deeply distressed. So, what are the common signs that your dog might be experiencing this? First, vocalization. This is a big one. Persistent barking, howling, or whining that starts soon after you leave, or sometimes even before you go. Then, destructive behavior. Chewing, digging, or scratching, especially around doors or windows, the places you leave through. It's not just any chewing, it's often frantic. Also, potty accidents. Even if your dog is perfectly house-trained, they might urinate or defecate when left alone due to stress. You might also see pacing, restless, repetitive movement, sometimes in a set pattern, and excessive drooling or panting, way more than usual and not related to heat or exercise. Finally, escape attempts. Frantic efforts to get out, which can sometimes lead to injuries. Now, here's where it can get a bit tricky. Is it really separation anxiety? Sometimes other issues can look similar. For example, boredom or excess energy. A young, energetic dog might get destructive if they're not getting enough mental and physical exercise, but this is different from panic. Medical issues, sudden potty accidents could be a sign of a health problem, so it's always good to rule that out with your vet. Incomplete house training, especially with puppies or newly adopted dogs. Or territorial barking. Your dog might bark at things they see or hear outside, but that's usually not exclusive to when they're alone. The key difference often lies in when these behaviors happen. True separation anxiety behaviors typically kick in shortly after you leave, or even as you're preparing to leave, and they happen pretty much every time the dog is left alone. It's also crucial to know that the presence of one sign doesn't automatically mean it's separation anxiety, but a cluster of these, especially when linked to your departures, is a strong indicator. Understanding this distinction is the first step because it helps us choose the right solutions. It's clear this takes a huge emotional toll, not just on our pups, but on us too. The worry, the guilt, the frustration. But once we know what we're dealing with, we can start to make things better. All right, now that we have a clearer picture of what separation anxiety is, let's talk about what we can do. The very first, and honestly most crucial step is management. What do I mean by management? Essentially, for a little while, we need to try our best to prevent our dogs from experiencing that full-blown panic when we're gone. I know this sounds like a massive ask, especially with work and life commitments, but here's why it's so important. Every time your dog goes through that distress, the anxiety can actually get stronger. We want to stop practicing the panic. So, what does this look like in the real world? First, suspend absences, temporarily. This is the ideal starting point, even if it's just for a short period. Can you work from home for a bit? Is a trusted friend, family member, or a professional dog sitter an option? Could doggy daycare work for your dog? Think of this as hitting the pause button on the anxiety so we can start fresh with training. This isn't forever, but it's a key first step to stop that panic cycle. Next up, let's talk about their environment. Create a safe den. We want our dogs to have a space where they feel as secure and comfortable as possible when they are alone. If your dog is already happily crate trained and sees their crate as a safe haven, that's great. Make sure it's cozy. Comfy bedding, maybe an old t-shirt that smells like you, but only if they're not a chewer who might ingest it. However, and this is a big however, if your dog panics more in a crate or has never been crate trained, now is not the time to force it. Confining a panicked dog can make things much worse and even dangerous. In that case, a dog-proofed room like a kitchen, laundry room, or a sectioned-off area with baby gates can be a better option. Remove anything they could destroy or that could harm them. Make it inviting, their favorite bed, fresh water, and some safe, comforting items. Then, enrichment for departures. When you do have to leave them, especially as you start practicing short absences later, make alone time a bit more engaging. Think long-lasting food puzzles like a stuffed Kong. You can freeze it to make it last longer. A snuffle mat with hidden treats, or a licky mat. These can provide a positive association and a welcome distraction. Have a few special high-value toys that only come out when they're alone. This makes them novel and exciting. Initially, you'll introduce these even when you're home, but in their den, so they build positive associations without the trigger of you leaving. And importantly, meet their needs before you go. This is foundational. A tired dog with a satisfied mind is often a calmer dog. Ensure they've had adequate physical exercise, a good walk, a game of fetch, and some mental stimulation, like a short training session or puzzle games before you plan to leave. This sets them up for rest rather than restlessness. These management strategies are your groundwork. They don't cure separation anxiety on their own, but they create the right conditions for the deeper training work to be effective. They help reduce overall stress and stop the rehearsal of panic, which is exactly what we need. So you've set up your management plan. You're creating that safe space. Fantastic. Now we layer on the behavior modification. This is where we actively work to change how our dogs feel about being alone. It takes patience and consistency, but it's so worth it. First up, desensitization to pre-departure cues. Think about all those little things you do before you leave. Picking up your keys, putting on your shoes, grabbing your bag or coat. Your dog has likely learned that these actions predict your departure, and that's when their anxiety can start to build. Our goal? To make these cues meaningless. So throughout the day, when you aren't planning to leave, randomly do these things. Pick up your keys and then go sit on the sofa. Put your shoes on and then make a cup of tea. Grab your bag and then wander into another room and put it down. Do these false alarm cues many times, keeping your demeanor totally casual. The idea is to break the association. This is where we start to rewire their brain, showing them these things don't always mean abandonment. Next, practicing gradual departures. This is about teaching your dog, in tiny, manageable steps, that being alone is safe. You'll need to be observant here and go at your dog's pace. Start with super short absences, literally seconds. Step out the door, close it, and come straight back in before your dog shows any sign of distress. No fuss when you leave, no big emotional reunion when you return. Just a calm, matter-of-fact, nothing happened vibe. Gradually, and I mean gradually, increase the duration. Maybe 5 seconds, then 10, then 30, then a minute, and so on. If your dog starts to get anxious, you've gone too fast. Go back to a duration where they were comfortable and work up more slowly. Using a camera or an old phone as a monitor can be incredibly helpful here to see how they're really doing. Then there's independence training. We want to foster a sense of confidence in our dogs when they're by themselves, even when we're home. Teach a go-to-your-place or settle cue where your dog learns to relax on their bed or mat. Start with short periods while you're in the same room, then gradually increase the distance and duration, perhaps with you in a different room. Make their place super rewarding with a special chew or a food puzzle. This helps them learn that being on their own can actually be pretty good. Now, keeping your dog mentally engaged and building that focus is so important, not just for independence, but for their overall well-being. All this training requires them to think and learn, which is fantastic mental exercise. If you're looking for a structured way to boost your dog's cognitive skills with fun games and puzzles that can support this kind of training, I often recommend a program called Brain Training for Dogs. It's packed with exercises that can complement what we're talking about by making learning enjoyable for your dog and enriching their mind. It's a great way to build confidence too, as they learn new skills. It's not a magic wand for separation anxiety on its own, but it's a fantastic tool for overall mental enrichment and engagement, which can really support the process. I'll put a link in the description if you want to check it out. Okay, so with all this training, there's something really important to keep in mind. Let's talk about the biggest mistake people make. Honestly, it's often punishing the dog for behaviors they do when anxious. Coming home to a mess is frustrating. I get it. But remember, your dog isn't doing it out of spite. Punishment will only increase their anxiety and fear, and it can seriously damage your bond. It will make the separation anxiety worse, not better. Another common pitfall is creating overly emotional departures and arrivals. Those long, tearful goodbyes or super excited, over-the-top greetings can actually heighten your dog's anxiety around your comings and goings. Aim for calm and low-key. This part of the training, the desensitization and gradual departures, is the marathon part of the process. It requires patience, but every small success is a step towards a calmer, happier dog. We've covered a lot of ground with management and behavior modification techniques. For many dogs, these strategies, applied consistently, can make a world of difference. But sometimes, despite your best efforts, you might feel like you've hit a wall, or the anxiety is particularly severe. So, when should you seek professional help? If your dog's separation anxiety is leading to self-injury, like frantically trying to escape and hurting themselves, or if there's significant destruction that puts them at risk, it's definitely time to call in a pro. Also, if you've been consistently applying these techniques for a while and you're just not seeing any improvement, or if you're feeling overwhelmed and unsure how to proceed, that's a perfect reason to get expert guidance. Remember, seeking help is a sign of being a great, responsible dog owner, not a sign of failure. Who should you consult? You'll want to look for professionals who specialize in this area and use positive, science-backed methods. A veterinary behaviorist, they'll have DASIVB after their name, is a veterinarian who has specialized in behavior and can also discuss if medication might be a helpful part of the treatment plan in severe cases. There are also certified separation anxiety trainers, CSATs, who are specifically trained and certified in dealing with this complex issue. Other certified professional dog trainers with a strong background in positive reinforcement and specific experience with separation anxiety can also be invaluable. Always do your research, and don't be afraid to ask about their methods and experience. And finally, a crucial reminder about patience and consistency. Treating separation anxiety is rarely a quick fix. It's truly a marathon, not a sprint. There will likely be good days and days where you feel like you've taken a step back. That's completely normal. Don't get discouraged. The key is to stay consistent with the training, celebrate the small wins, and adjust your plan as needed, ideally with your professional guide if you have one. Maintaining progress often means continuing with good management practices and being mindful of your dog's threshold for being alone, even after you see significant improvement. So there you have it, a deep dive into understanding and helping your dog with separation anxiety. We've talked about how crucial good management is to stop that panic cycle, how desensitization and gradual departures can gently change their feelings about being alone, and the importance of patience and consistency throughout this journey. I know this can feel like a mountain to climb, but I truly want to leave you with a sense of hope. You can make a profound difference in your dog's well-being. Your dog isn't choosing to be destructive or noisy out of spite. They're genuinely struggling, and with these compassionate, science-backed approaches, you can guide them towards feeling safe and secure, even when you're not around. Imagine those peaceful departures and calm, happy reunions. It is possible. If this video has been helpful for you, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps other dog owners find this information. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell for more practical, positive dog advice. Don't forget, if you're interested in enriching your dog's mind with fun games and puzzles that can support their confidence and training, do check out the link for brain training for dogs in the description below. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Comment below and let me know. What's your biggest challenge when it comes to your dog's separation anxiety? Or what's one tip from today that you're going to try first? Sharing your experiences can help so many others in our community. Thanks so much for watching. Remember, you're not alone in this. Take it one day at a time, celebrate those small victories, and know that you're doing a wonderful thing for your best friend. Until next time, happy training.